Are you in the market for a new home? Well, stay tuned because today we're going to discuss the pros of buying versus building and which route you should go. Hey y'all, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Myra from Our Nashville Realtor, and today we are going to discuss the pros and cons of building versus buying your home. So if you're watching this video, you're probably in the market for a new home. You're probably thinking about moving sometime in the near future, and you are wondering, what's the best route to go? Do I build a new construction home? Do I build with a builder? Do I build on my own lot with my own contractor? Or do I buy a pre-existing home? Now, when it comes to shopping for a new home, we all want our dollar to go the furthest. We want to get the most for our money, and we want to feel like we are making a good investment. If you're in the market for a new home, are you building or are you buying? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear. So let's just hop right into it and start discussing the pros and the cons of each one, and hopefully you'll be able to decide what the best route for you is. So first, we're going to start off with the pros of building. Building is honestly one of my favorite routes to go, and that's because there is so much flexibility with it. To start off, the pro of building that's one of my favorites is you get to pick your floor plan. So you get to pick exactly how you want the layout of your house to look like. So if you want your master downstairs, you want your master up, you want X amount of number of bedrooms, but you want them in different places of the house, or you want them close together sharing a wall. Do you want a loft? Do you want a specific separate dining room? Where do you want your kitchen? Do you want a like a mud room? Do you want your laundry upstairs or downstairs? Those are some of the things that you get to decide when you are building your own home. Another pro to building your home is designing it. So if you are building a custom home, you're going to have a lot more influence in what that house is going to look like. Whereas if you go with what I call a like cookie cutter development builder, they have specific floor plans picked out for you, but you are able to go in and choose the color options, what upgrades you want. So you can pick from the color of your floors, the color of your cabinets, the color of your walls, your paint color. All those are things that you usually are able to pick from. If you buy a pre-existing home, you don't get that kind of say in what you're getting. Obviously, you are hoping that whatever you find is kind of within your style. And if it's not, then that's a project that you have to take on after you close. Something that's really cool about building your own home is it is all you. So it has your mark on it. Your whole style is in it, what you like about it. You've made that home. You created it. You've chosen everything on it. When you're doing custom, like I said, there's a lot more that you can do with that. You can choose more of doorknobs or like what type of cabinets that you offer. A lot of builders, when you're doing like a cookie cutter style, only offer one or two different style cabinets. But when you're doing custom, you can pick like whatever you want, all the way down to what kind of toilets you want and the handles on the toilets. It's crazy. You have so much room to design exactly what you want when you're doing custom. There is a lot more headache that goes on with that one, I feel like, because you are really choosing everything. I feel like that can get a little stressful, but if you really like to design, then I think that is a really fun route to go. So the third pro of building is that you get to pick your own lot. And that's something that I think is really exciting because they always say you can change your home, what your home looks like, you can do updates to it, but you can never change your location. So if you find a plot that you like or a development that you like, you can pick that specific one and that's where your house is going to be. It's based off of what you wanted. So if you have a dream of, I want to live in a cul-de-sac, or I want to live on a corner lot, or I want to have a tree line backyard, like a wooded backyard, or I want to just do total custom and I want to purchase 5 acres of property and I want it to be in this specific area of town, you have that ability. Whereas if you are just going and trying to find a house that is already on the market, you're going to have to like the area, you're going to have to like the lot versus just picking what you want. And my fourth pro of building is that no one has ever lived there before. So I think there's something special and something to be said about being the first people in your home. I think that is just, it's like getting a new car. It has the new car smell, so you're gonna have the new house smell. You feel just at ease knowing that it is brand new. No one's ever touched it before. No one's ever lived there before. It's all you. It's all yours to make your own memories in, and I think that's really special. So now we're going to talk about the cons of building, because there are several different cons that come to building. And the first one is going to be time. So when you are building a house, it can take a while for it to be built. So normally if you are building in a developmental community, those homes generally take about 5-6 months. Some are as little as 4, and I have heard that custom home building can go all the way up to 2 years. So when you are building, you not only have to sit around and wait for your house to be built, but you have the added pressure and the expense of having to find somewhere else to live in the time being. That being said, some builders offer what is called a spec home, and a spec home is a home that that builder has started building. No one has purchased it yet. The builder is just building it in order to start putting houses on those lots. Those homes, in most cases, have had all of their designs picked out for them. So they already have an exterior color. They already have what your floors are going to be, what your cabinets are going to be, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, if you're going to have a big shower, all that stuff like that, 2-car garage, 3-car garage, all that's been picked out for you already. So that doesn't allow you the same amount of flexibility and creativeness as if you were to go into a design center and you were building a brand new home yourself, but it gets you into a brand new construction home a lot quicker. So if you come across a spec home that's being built and it's only 1 month out from being completed, then you could still close within a month. So it definitely speeds up that process. You're giving up a little bit of the creativity and your own personal touch on it, but you're getting into a new construction home a lot quicker. If a spec home isn't your thing and you want to have total creative design process with it, which I totally get because I would do that myself, then it's definitely going to take you a lot longer. So keep that in mind when you start the build process. A lot of builders, like I said, will go from 4 months all the way up to 2 years. I think the average that you're gonna find if you go into like a subdivision is going to be somewhere between 4 and 6 months, but just be prepared that it could take you longer. There are also delays in construction as well, so be prepared for those. Another con of building is going to be the construction mess and the noise. So if you are going into a new development and you are in the first phase or even the second phase, depending on how many phases they have, you're one of the first people in there to like kind of the middle people in there, you're going to be dealing with construction because they're going to be finishing up building your development. And that can come with a lot of mess, dirt everywhere, nails in the road, and a lot of noise. So if being in a quiet neighborhood is important to you, then that could be something to keep in mind. Obviously, the noise and the construction will go away at some point, but just depending on how quickly you get in and how much longer it's going to take for them to finish building that whole development, it could be a while. I know some subdivisions, they go up to 3 years. So that being said, if you are one of the first people in there, then you could potentially be living with that for 2 years, even more. So that's definitely something to keep in mind when deciding if you want new construction or you want to find something that's already on the market. Another con of building is going to be the lack of mature neighborhoods. I know that's important to a lot of people. So if you are someone who likes those big oak trees and that mature neighborhood, then new construction is not going to give you those vibes, unfortunately. So what they do with new construction is they go in and they bulldoze the entire lot. So there are no trees left, and it's kind of sad in a way, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So they bulldoze all the trees down. Then they start building on the lots. When you build a new construction home, lots of times they include a little landscaping package where you get a handful of bushes, and sometimes you'll even get a little tree. But that's all you're gonna have. You're gonna have like a little stick tree in your yard, and it's not going to be those full, big, beautiful trees. So if living in a mature neighborhood is something that's important to you, you're likely not going to get that with new construction. Over time, of course, it'll become its own mature neighborhood itself, but I mean, you may not be there anymore, or I mean, it's gonna take a while for it to happen. So, all right, and my last con of building is you don't always know the builder's quality. And something that I have heard repeatedly in the real estate world is it is not the work of the builder, it's the work of the subcontractor. So you really don't know how good of quality your house is going to turn out. Also, with new construction homes, if you are one of the also with new construction homes, when you're moving into one of these new neighborhoods, the people there before you have not really been there long enough to give you a true idea of how the quality of their home is built, because you're not going to see many issues within the first year or even two of your new construction home. So if you're walking through an existing home already, you're likely to be able to feel the fits and finishes of everything, especially if it's several years old. You can kind of get an idea of the quality of our last house that we were in. It was probably 15 years old. I think it's like 15 years old now. And it just felt nice. It felt like the quality was just really well. It was a well-made house, and you could tell. You don't get to experience that and feel that if you're touring a new construction home or you're even touring the model, because it just hasn't been around long enough for you to kind of get a good idea. All right, so now we're gonna look at the pros of buying. Buying, in my opinion, is a little bit cheaper. That being said, do your research, because sometimes you can kind of find a happy balance between the two and go either way. But in my opinion, I have noticed buying pre-owned, like houses that are on the market already, are cheaper. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because they come with a lot of the things that you don't think about when you're building new construction. So first off, when you are buying someone else's home, one thing to keep in mind is all the window treatments are included in your home. So the blinds that are on every single window in that house that you are touring, those are included. The only way that those would not be included is if the seller is specifically saying that they are not, and that is written within the contract. But in general, those are supposed to be included. That is an expense that you don't really think of when you're purchasing a new home, because new construction does not come with that. I will say from experience, we bought a home several years ago, and it wasn't new construction, but it didn't have window treatments on it anyways because no one was living there. It ended up costing us $1,000 just to put basic blinds on every single window in the house. So that's $1,000 that you can save right off the bat by purchasing a home that is already on the market. These homes are also going to come with landscaping. So they're already going to have their backyard done. They're already going to have their front yard all nice and landscaped. When you're buying new construction, they don't do anything in the backyard. I think in most cases, the backyard, they seed it for grass. And that's it. That's all you get. So when you first move in and you walk outside from the back, it's just going to be dirt. That's what you get. I know in the front, a lot of times they'll give you grass. They'll put sod down, and they will give you a few bushes and whatnot. So it actually looks kind of cute, and it's ready to go for the most part, but the backyard has nothing. So when you are buying a home that is already listed on the market, someone else is living there already, chances are they have already done something with their backyard, and it's probably pretty cute. Another pro of buying is that it is probably move-in ready for the most part. And what I mean by move-in ready is you can move in pretty quickly. So let's say you need to be out of the place that you're in within a month and a half. As long as the seller is okay with it, you are likely able to close on that house within that amount of time and get moved into that home that quickly. New construction, like I said, it's going to take you a lot longer. So you don't have that ability. If you need to be out of the place you're in now, you got to find somewhere to live until that house is ready. Another pro is you have that mature neighborhood feel if that is what you want. You can be in a beautiful, mature neighborhood that's been around for years. You can have the big trees, and it can just be so charming. So that is something to keep in mind. New construction, you don't get mature, but if you buy, you have the chances of getting mature. So it just depends what your preferences are. All right, and my last pro of buying is you have more room for negotiation. So when you are buying, this is the time where you pull out your little negotiation cap and you get to negotiating, because you have the ability to kind of manipulate however you want to see the situation. In a market that's super hot, you don't get as much wiggle room with your negotiation, but in a normal market to slightly, leading more towards a buyer's market, you definitely have an upper hand when it comes to negotiating. So, for example, things that can be negotiated with a seller are things like, we want your fridge, or we want to lower the price of the house, we don't think it's worth us, or your roof is old, so we want a credit towards the roof, or we need you to replace the roof. Those are things that can be negotiated. All right, so that brings us to the cons of buying, and there are several cons that come with buying. First one being age. So what that means is the age of the roof. If you have an older home that you're looking at, the roof could be old, or the windows could be old. The furnace or the AC could be old. That means if you close knowing that those are old items and you haven't negotiated that can be money coming out of your pocket pretty soon after closing in repairs and fixer-uppers that you're going to have to do. Another con of buying is it's not going to be your own style unless you're lucky enough to find something that is. And if you are, that's great. If you're not, then that means you have a little bit of renovating to do when you move in. And that's not always the worst, but it definitely is time consuming and it takes up some extra money in order to get those projects done. If it's not your style, chances are it's probably going to be a little bit dated. If it was a home that was built several years ago, it probably is dated if they have not done any upgrades to it. So you are probably going to have to put in a little bit of work in order to get it to be more of your style and what you're wanting. All right, and that about wraps up this video. If you found this video valuable, give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in any real estate content or following along on my journey, hit that subscribe button. You will be notified anytime I post a new video. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.